The Destiny New Light campaign is a very unique piece of Destiny content. For any player who picked up the game prior to the Beyond Light expansion, it exists as an awkward and in some ways inferior replacement for the now sunset Red War campaign, which was the original new player experience. But for anyone who began their Destiny 2 journey anytime after Beyond Light, the New Light questline was their very first Destiny experience. Even though it was designed for new players, the quest was made available to any returning player who wanted to try it out. Since anyone is able to play this quest, new player or otherwise, many people have become familiar with the details of this quest. But recently, a change was made to New Light that seems to have flown under most players' radar. Upon the launch of the Witch Queen expansion in February of 2022, Bungie actually reworked one of the early steps of the New Light campaign to feature a second quest titled Learning Light. This new quest features a brand new mission that contains some of the strangest, most unorthodox elements I've ever seen in a Destiny activity. With that being said, I introduce you to the strangest mission you have probably never played. For the sake of context, let's recap the New Light quest leading up to this mission. You start by being revived by your ghost for the first time, and from there, it follows the same route as the original first mission from Destiny 1. Except, instead of finding a ship on your way to the steps, you find Shah Han, who recruits you to track down his missing fireteam members. The mission progresses, and you fight through some Fallen and Hive until you come face to face with Navota, who rips the light out of Shah's friend Maeve. Collecting the remains of her ghost, you gain the first step of the new quest called Learning Light. Returning to Shah, he directs you to a spot where you can commune with the Traveler. It's on the edge of a cliff near the Moth Yards. Rather than interacting with a banner to start the mission, you are instead prompted to meditate. This causes you to enter a completely unique animation, where your guardian sits down, crosses their legs, and bows their head. A well of light appears in front of you. When you interact with it, the mission begins. You were then teleported to the site of where Maeve was destroyed by Navota in the Lunar Complex. Oddly enough, you are in third person for this segment. The mission is called Refracted Lesson, and the objective reads, A Gift for You. Another well appears which you can use to meditate yet again. Doing this causes another animation to begin, where you kneel down and reach toward the well, assimilating it and claiming the light. It also grants you your first void aspect, Controlled Demolition. Doing this on a character that already has the aspect doesn't do anything but progress the mission. Following the objective markers, you find this hive crust that covers the room, which you can destroy to gain access to more wells. Claiming the second well, you gain a buff called Traveler's Favor, which greatly increases your ability recharge rate. The objective now reads, You will find my light, which appears to be a statement from the perspective of Maeve. Moving down the stairs, you encounter the first really strange part of this mission, one of the large rotating pillars from the Pit of Heresy dungeon. It's not really in your way, but if you get too close to it, it one-shots you. The pillar is actually clipping in and out of the wall, which looks super unnatural. Moving further into the complex, you find another well. In this room, there are many more hazards, including more pillars and now the swinging lanterns from the same dungeon. The lanterns are even more out of place here, and they also clip into their surroundings like the pillars did. The objective now says, You will get out. If I'm correct, and this is coming from Maeve, it gives the situation that we're in some interesting subtext. This mission is not real, it's a meditation, and a way for Maeve to communicate with us through the Traveler. These obstacles are manifestations of the Hive that have trapped you, and Maeve's affirmations and gifts of the light are guiding your escape. Maeve did not escape the Lunar Complex, so now she guides your meditation and gives you her light to ensure that you're able to do what she could not. As you break into the Moth Yards, you find another well. Just past it, you encounter a gigantic Hive totem and a group of Hive Thrall guarding the next well. The objective reads, You will take it back. This seems to imply that the Hive in this mission have taken the light like Savathun has in the Witch Queen storyline. Claiming the next well, you can now see dozens of Hive totems hovering in the air. I find this to be the most striking visual in the mission. The day is sunny, but the totems hang in the air like an ominous storm cloud above you. It resembles something out of an atmospheric horror game more than it does Destiny. You push down into a cave where another totem stands over a well covered in crust. As you finish meditating, the totem opens up and shrieks, summoning more Hive. You continue assimilating wells and destroying the hive, and the objective changes again, now reading, "You will end them." You're now following the trail of light back to where you began the meditation, fighting through a hive invasion as you take back the light and strengthen your abilities. Exiting the moth yards, there's an almost unsettling level of calm. The silence is broken as the track Surge of Light from D1's The Taken King begins to play. The mission brings you down into the darkness below the steps. The objective updates to say, "I make my peace." These are the final steps of catharsis for Maeve. You fight through droves of hive, eventually making your way to the last of the wells. Defeating them, you can meditate to obtain your first void aspect, Echo of Reprisal. The objective now says one final affirmation: "You will find my light." The final meditation concludes the mission, and you return to the cliff. You return to Shaw, and he congratulates you on your progress, and tells you to talk to Ikora about your experience when the time comes. When you do, she tells you that while your first lesson in the light was born out of Maeve's tragedy, the next will be from her, and it will be just the start of your journey. So, with all my inferred subtext aside, I do think this is probably one of the better missions out of the new light experience. It harkens back to the original subclass missions you would have played in Destiny 1 to obtain your third subclass. Specifically, this one reminds me of the Night Stalker one, where you are guided by the light of a fallen guardian whose sacrifice grants you the power of the void as a hunter. Refracted Lesson follows a couple of the same beats, most obviously with Maeve's death being the catalyst that unlocks your void abilities. But also, just like the D1 missions, it gives you the chance to use all your new abilities with no cooldowns. While there are some goofy aspects to this mission, like the somewhat sloppily put together obstacles in the first two sections, I can look past these problems because at the end of the day, this is a completely free piece of content and is a much more interesting way to unlock aspects and fragments compared to glimmer dumping at Ikora. But also, this mission is genuinely kind of fun, which is a praise I find hard to give to any other piece of the New Light campaign. Overall, I would recommend that you go ahead and try out this mission if you haven't already. This mission is pretty cool, and it captures the power fantasy of getting to take out huge hordes of enemies with unlimited abilities, with an interesting backdrop of one guardian guiding another through a meditation in the light. With all that being said, I've been Harvariety, and I hope to see you in the next one.